Welcome back, students. We're going to talk today about expressions and assignment statements, this time specifically about typecasting and increment and decrement. And I know I've talked around the terms increment and decrement before, but we're actually going to examine them today. So let's get started here. We're calling about two different variable types that we've discussed, int and double, and we've talked about how they are not compatible. We've either had to declare a value as an int or a double. When we perform arithmetic operations, we can only go between the two types if one of the two values in question is a double. However, there is a way to work around this. If you recall, previously I said if we do like 10 divided by 3, we don't get 3.3333, we would get 3. Right, so we're going to look at that. That's done through typecasting. So let's look at the expression 9/2. In Java, if I try to evaluate this using the int type variable, I get a value of 4. Because the 0.5 is truncated. We may want to find the true value of 9 divided by 2, which is 4.5. In order to change this, let's assume that we're going to start off with int n equals 9 and int m equals 2. So if we want to get a decimal answer, we must type double ans equals n divided by parentheses double parentheses m. The double m is what is known as a typecast. This forces Java to change the value of m to a double. So if we look back at that example I gave the other day with 10 divided by 3, we could do the same thing here, except we would change like n to 10 and m to 3. All right, let's also talk about type coercion. Sometimes Java will actually do typecasting for you. Right? For example, changing the value of 5 into 5.0 when you do division of two doubles. This is called type coercion. So, like I said, a lot of the stuff we've kind of mentioned, but we're just kind of just doing it a little more in depth. You can convert from an int to a double, but not the other way around. All right, int I equals 5.5, that's illegal. Remember, when we say it's illegal, that means that it's going to throw an error. Instead, if I wanted to do that, I have to typecast it. Int I equals parentheses int parentheses 5.5. And so then the value of 5 would be stored in I. All right, let's talk about the increment operator. The increment operator, plus plus, will add 1 to the current value of a variable. This is usually done with type int, but can be done with other types. So int n equals 1, n plus plus. The value of n in the above example is going to go from 1 to 2. So just as another one, let's say I had int n equals 10, and then it is n plus plus. I would now have n be a value of 10. Right. Now, there are two things to talk about. There's n plus plus and plus plus n. The most common one you're going to see is the first one, n plus plus. The increase happens after the variable's value is returned. Plus plus n, the increase happens before the variable's value is returned. All right, and we don't have to worry about that too much, but for the most part, we're going to end up using n plus plus. All right. Just like there's increment, there's also a decrement operator. And the decrement operator, minus minus, decreases the value of the variable by 1. So here I have int n equals 1. I'm going to do n minus minus. And the value of n in the above example goes from 1 to 0. And similar as before, there's an n minus minus and a minus minus n. Alright. And the difference again is that the decrease happens after the variable's value is returned, or the decrease happens before the variable's value is returned. And again, most often, you're going to see this here, the n minus minus. All right, why use plus plus or minus minus? You may wonder, why should I use n plus plus or n minus minus when I can just add 1? Right, because n plus plus is the same as n equals n plus 1, and n minus minus is the same as n equals n minus 1. All right. Later in this course, we're going to discuss things like loops. And loops use increment or decrement statements to change their iterations. Now, because of that, Java does not allow arithmetic operations inside loop conditions. So you would have to use plus plus, minus minus, or something similar in order to set up your loop conditions. You can't use like n equals n plus 1. All right, we've gotten to the self-test questions here. So let's go ahead and look at these. Number 1. What is the output produced by the following code? Int n equals parentheses int parentheses 3.9 system.println quote n equals quote plus n. What is the output produced by the following code? Int n equals 3, n plus plus, system out that print line, quote, n equals, quote, plus n. N minus minus, system out that print line, quote, n equals, quote, plus n. And that wraps up this one, folks. Until next time.